Okay, I'm working on a 1991 Mercury Grand Marquis. This is a true grandma special. Guy bought it from a grandma, and he was driving it, and the transmission started acting up. Well, I'm going to show what used to be a very common problem with a Ford AOD transmission. They were a very good transmission, but the weakest link, believe it or not, had nothing to do with the transmission. Specifically, it's this TV linkage, the throttle valve. And similar to a 700R and a GM, the throttle valve is raises the line pressure proportional to throttle opening. So the more I open the throttle, the more I move line pressure. Well, the TV valve controls line pressure along with shift points. Well, what happens is this plastic, let's see if I can get a good picture of it here. This plastic piece, you can see it's kind of half sticking out there. There's a plastic grommet that goes into the throttle linkage. That piece breaks, and then that linkage isn't connected to the throttle anymore. So as I move the throttle here, well, or attempt to, I should say. Okay, see how that's moving, but the transmission, this TPS kind of got out of the way. See this guy here? See how he's wide open? That's the transmission. Okay, that's got to move. That's got to move with the throttle. And see how it doesn't? So that's a problem. Yeah, right there. Say that grommet is broke. So that 3-cent grommet on the throttle valve is what caused this problem on this. And this was very common. Mustangs, Crown Victorias, you know, Grand Marquis, town cars. This transmission was used up until 1991. This is actually the last year of this transmission. 92, they went electronic on most cars. I think Lincoln was early. Lincoln went in 1990. But transmission came out in 1980 in Lincoln Town Car, then migrated to the rest of the Ford products in 81. But that's what caused this transmission failure. Okay, this is our Ford AOD transmission tore apart. I just explained earlier on why it burned up and why we had to take it apart. There's two things that fail normally when this happens. Number one, you start losing overdrive. When that TV cable screws up or doesn't move with the throttle, the shifts are very soft and you can barely feel them. Well, most grandpas, you know, smooth shifting is what they want. You know, it's not a Mustang 5-liter. So you really don't notice anything until it starts slipping. You're running down a road and you notice that, you know, at 45, 50 mile an hour that the RPMs are going and the engine or the vehicle isn't. So slips real bad. Well, the first thing it cooks is the overdrive band. And this is the overdrive band in this thing. And it looks like it went through Chernobyl. See, there's nothing left. Just right down to the metal right there. She's junk. And trust me, if this video could smell, you know what I mean. The other thing it takes out is the direct clutch. This guy right here. This is the direct drum. This is all the way at the bottom of the transmission. This is the first guy in. This is third gear. Okay, look what it does to the plates. That's supposed to be a fiber plate. You know, excuse me, that's the steel. This is fiber, but it looks like a steel. So there's nothing left. They're totally wasted. You know, these things, you know, it's warped a little bit. But God, I can't remember how many of these we fixed. So that's what causes this problem. So this transmission is going to get a full overhaul just because of a 3-cent freaking plastic clip. So there's a crash course. I know we don't see many of these anymore, but I'm sure this video will help somebody out 20 years from now maybe on this problem, because it used to be very, very common.